The galaxy shuddered at the fall of the Separatists. On the volcanic world of Mustafar, Anakin Skywalker had cut down the last of the Confederacy's leaders, fulfilling the command of his new master, Darth Sidious. War was ending, but not peace. From Coruscant to Kashyyyk, battles raged as the last sparks of rebellion were stamped out. Victory was at hand, and Sidious prepared his grandest move. In the shadowed office of the Supreme Chancellor, the Dark Lord of the Sith stood before the holocoms, his words sharp and venomous. "The Jedi have betrayed us. Execute Order 66. The command raced through the networks of the Grand Army of the Republic, transmitted to every clone commander in every theater of war. But something else stirred within the secret programming buried deep inside their minds. The Kaminoan scientists had designed contingency orders numbered 1 through 150. Most were dormant, meant only for unimaginable scenarios. But Sidious's tampering with the code, the dark energy he had poured into the order itself, awakened more than he intended, and in that instant, every order activated at once. On Utapau, Commander Cody had just raised his rifle toward General Kenobi. "Blast him," he barked. The turbo tank fired, but at the same time, another command screamed in his skull. Protect Jedi leadership at all costs. Conflicting orders clashed in his brain. His hands shook, his vision blurred, and in madness, he fired into his own men. The turbo tank swiveled, gunners screaming as they rained fire not on Kenobi, but on their fellow clones. Utapau's battlefield collapsed into chaos. Obi-Wan, diving into the sinkhole waters, surfaced to see troopers tearing each other apart. Some tried to kill him, others shielded him, and others froze in confusion, blasters wavering between targets. He felt the ripple in the Force. Sidious's trap had gone wrong, but the danger remained. He fled into the labyrinth of Utapau, hunted not only by those who wished him dead, but caught between factions of clone brothers killing each other. On Kashyyyk, Yoda meditated upon his small council chair, the roar of battle still echoing in the trees. When the command struck Commander Gree and his squad, half of them turned their blasters on the Grand Master, while the others shouted orders to protect him. The Wookiees howled in confusion as clones slaughtered one another beneath the jungle canopy. Gree's mind fractured under the pressure of a dozen conflicting commands. Kill Jedi, obey Jedi, arrest Jedi, protect Republic senators, remove Chancellor Palpatine if compromised. Screaming, he dropped his helmet and fired blindly. Yoda's blade flashed, saving his life again and again, but soon he needed only to defend against the madness of clone against clone. The battle collapsed into carnage, the Separatist droids forgotten as Republic forces destroyed themselves. Across the galaxy, the same scene repeated. On Felucia, Aayla Secura was cut down by crossfire not from droids, but from her own clone division shooting wildly, each obeying different voices in their heads. On Megiddo, Ki-Adi-Mundi's battalion turned on itself, ripping apart walkers and tanks in fratricide. On Coruscant, the elite shock troopers of the Chancellor's Guard received conflicting orders to both defend Palpatine and remove him from office for treason. They raised weapons against their own Emperor, others defending him fanatically. Palpatine himself staggered as explosions rocked the Senate district. He reached out through the Force, fury spilling from his withered frame. "No, obey me." His will pressed like iron on the minds of every clone, trying to bend the storm of contradictions. For a moment it worked, but the chaos was too vast, too many voices screaming at once. The orders spiraled beyond his control. Anakin Skywalker felt it too. At the Jedi Temple, he had ignited his blade against younglings. But before the slaughter began, the clones surrounding him faltered. Some turned their rifles on him, shouting conflicting lines of protocol. Protect the Supreme Chancellor's apprentice. Eliminate Jedi traitors. Defend Jedi leadership. Blaster bolts lanced across the Grand Hall, clones killing clones as children screamed and fled. Anakin cut down troopers who raised weapons against him, then realized others were trying to protect him from their brothers. The massacre of the temple turned into a battle of madness, fire spreading through the ancient halls. The Force writhed with pain and confusion. Every order screamed at once. Arrest senators, defend senators, execute generals, obey generals, protect Republic citizens, suppress Republic citizens. Even assassination protocols intended for impossible betrayals now now burned alive in every soldier's mind. Billions of voices howled in a choir of rage. The Republic collapsed in hours. Fleets turned on each other in orbit. Venators firing blindly. Commanders trying to execute contradictory directives. On Coruscant, clone regiments rioted through the streets. Some seizing the Senate, others storming the Chancellor's palace, others slaughtering each other in confusion. The people screamed, watching their defenders unravel. Sidious stood in his darkened office, lightning flashing outside the Durasteel windows, his plan crumbling. This was not foreseen, he snarled. He reached for his comms, demanding Anakin return. But Anakin's voice was distant, seething. Master, the clones turned on me. They turned on everyone. The temple is burning. Then control them, Sidious spat. But Anakin was silent. Through the smoke of the temple, through the cries of children and brothers killing brothers, he felt something deeper. A whisper in the Force. Not Sidious, not Obi-Wan, but something older. This chaos is the price of manipulation. You stand at the center, Skywalker. Choose what you will be. For the first time, doubt cracked his anger. On Utapau, Obi-Wan escaped the sinkholes on a stolen ship. On Kashyyyk, Yoda fled with Chewbacca as clones bombarded their own positions. Survivors scattered, Jedi not yet extinguished. Palpatine's trap had failed. Instead of perfect control, he had unleashed a civil war within his own army. In the Senate chamber, gunfire echoed as shocked troopers fought one another across the Chancellor's podium. Senators screamed and fled. Bail Organa saw the collapse firsthand. The Republic's guardians eating themselves alive. He realized no empire could rise from this, only ashes. Palpatine tried to seize control by raw power. He stormed into the Senate, lightning exploding from his hands, incinerating clones who defied him. His face twisted into pure fury, eyes blazing with hatred. But as he turned, he saw Anakin at the doors, cloak torn, blade ignited. "Master," Anakin said, his voice hoarse, "you promised me order, you promised me control, but look around you. It's nothing but madness." Palpatine raised his hands, lightning dancing between his fingers. "Then seize control. Together we will bend them, all of them, to our will." But Anakin hesitated. He saw the children's faces in the temple, the madness of his brothers turning on one another, the galaxy crumbling. He lowered his blade. "No, this isn't saving anyone. Not Padme, not the Republic, not me." Palpatine shrieked in rage, hurling lightning at his apprentice. Anakin's saber whirled, catching the storm, sparks dancing across the ruined chamber. Senators gasped from their hiding places as blue light clashed with red fury. The duel shattered the podium, statues crumbling as the Dark Lord pressed his apprentice. "You are nothing without me," Sidious hissed. But Anakin's strength grew with every strike. The chaos of the galaxy echoed inside him, yet instead of breaking, he drew resolve. For the first time since Mustafar, he remembered who he had been. Not Vader, not servant, but Anakin Skywalker. He turned Sidious's own lightning back upon him, hurling the Emperor across the chamber in a storm of fire. Silence fell. The Senate lay in ruins. The Republic's army had devoured itself. Palpatine writhed, broken and burned, his grand design undone by his own greed. Anakin deactivated his saber. He looked to the surviving senators, to Bail, to Mon Mothma, their faces pale but alive. "The Jedi are not traitors," he said. "The Sith are." In the days that followed, the galaxy reeled. Without the clones, without the Republic, without the Empire, systems fell into chaos. But into that chaos stepped voices of hope. Bail Organa and Padme Amidala called for unity. Jedi survivors emerged from hiding, no longer enemies but allies once again. And Anakin, scarred by his choices, walked a fragile path. Not Sith, not Jedi, a soldier who had seen the abyss and turned away. The galaxy would never forget the day Order 66 became Order All. It was the day the Republic destroyed itself, and from its ashes a new chance was born.